Welcome, everybody, and we are the Uneducated Gamers podcast, presented by Galaxy Game TV. And in today's first episode, we will discuss the recent news around Star Wars and EA losing their exclusive license. And we're going to do part one of a Cyberpunk two-part discussion, all about the latest news around the Bloomberg article that just came out recently. And Jason Schreier had a lot to report on that, and then present some of our observations so far, thoughts on what's going on with CDPR, Cyberpunk, and our most uneducated thoughts. My co-host with me is Joe. Why don't you say hi? Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Actually, say something.
I'm waving. You can't see it, but I am waving. Unless you can see it. I don't know if video is being taken of this. And also, who are all these people that we're talking about? What is going on?
Our 0 subscribers that hopefully at some point will listen to this a year down the road and say, whoa, these guys were onto something.
Maybe. We'll see. Time will tell.
I mean, that's the whole shtick, right? Like, we're just uneducated gamers. Let's do it.
Starts from nothing, right?
Right. But, okay. But yeah, Joe, there's a lot going on. I know you've sort of, and I think you fit more in this bucket than I do. I'm just kidding. But I think we both fit in this bucket of uneducated thoughts about games because, you've kind of stepped away from gaming for a little while. You haven't really touched much of it, right?
It's not completely uneducated. It's more like approximate knowledge. Because I like to live vicariously through other people playing games. Because who has the time? It's like I can't sit down and get myself into like a gigantic MMO aside from like WoW, because it's 20 years old at this point, and just walking back into it is just like riding a bike.
Yeah,
but I mean, it is. The key bindings haven't changed since like 2006. I mean, it's ridiculous, but. I have a lot of opinions about the graphics that may or may not make sense. No, the graphics have gotten much better. It still manages to only run at like 40 FPS on my computer, and like I don't know what I need to do here. I just don't. I'm just kind of bad at putting computers together. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like buy a great graphics card. What the fuck processor is this? What do you mean I need more than 8 gigs of RAM to do anything?
Oh, man. But, if you buy a Mac, you only need 8 gigs of RAM to do a lot of things. But let's just not go
for the only 8 games that Mac can play.
Okay. All right. Mr. PC Gamer.
You're on the wrong side of history, my friend.
No,
so
I hear
don't know what to tell you.
Well, I mean, I played PC gaming up until I was, I'm not going to date myself, but I played PC games for a very long time until I hit the consoles. So I think it wasn't until about maybe PS3 is when I really started playing consoles. Before that, I was strictly PC gaming. I just got tired of building PCs, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's not that bad these days. I mean, there's tons of resources.
And I have children.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's kind of like, a normal problem for most people, except for me, because I've decided to just not have kids.
You know what? I guess I have too many hobbies, right? I have this kind of stuff that I like to do, podcasts, vlogs, film, so on and so forth. So I think
you're like the Richard Branson of the internet.
Okay, sure. No, but for
like,
me,
not as rich. Not even close to as rich.
No, I don't think so.
But you would be the dude to buy a volcano.
Right. But look, and just for the audience's sake, I think we could call you the PC gamer in this instance because, that's generally your POV is PC gaming.
Definitely.
I do once in a while I'll play some like Steam game on PC, but really my bread and butter these days is consoles. So, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 3, 4, I'm not getting 5 until they actually put out some games. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying. But anyways, console gamer. Joe, you're more PC gamer, which I think
PC. I will play console games, but I'm just like, you know, as much of a pain in the ass as you feel like putting new PC parts together is, it's as equally pain in the ass for me to keep up with the console market, because like as soon as I finally tuck into one, it's like the next generation's coming out.
I can tell you,
and then I'm just like, well, what's the point?
Well, I hear you, and this is why, and this is my exact direct problem with PS5, because, excuse me, with
that, please.
And this is my exact problem with, like, say, the PS5, right? And that's because a majority of my games from PS3, PS4 are just not going to be playable on the PS5, not the way that I want to. And that's a real pain in the ass. Like, I'll be honest, I'm like, fuck, are you serious? Like, I don't want to have like 10 consoles on my thing. I already play multiple consoles as it is, right? Like, I have Xbox, PlayStation, I have Wii, I have Switch, and I don't need like 6 PlayStation systems on my freaking shelf.
Right?
But I'll tell you, this is why I went with Xbox Series X to start out. And that was because I could sit there and put an Xbox 360 game in there and it'll install it and I could play it. Like, no problem.
Yeah.
Like 100% backwards compatibility. And that is what I expected from this generation, right? I know this is not.
Are you disappointed?
Well, no, actually, I am absolutely stoked about the Xbox Series X. I'm happy for it.
First of all, don't say stoked. First of all, that's not your personality.
You know how old I am.
I do.
I'm a
and also, that's another red flag.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So you're jazzed about the Xbox Series X. How nifty is it?
It's neat.
Are you not keen on the PlayStation?
No, because again of the fact that I still need my PS3, I still need my PS4 to play my back catalog of games. That's the thing that just aggravates the piss out of me. And I understand where you're coming from there, but I could say if you being a PC gamer, and what I think Xbox is doing right now, and I know this is not something that was part of our topic, but it's good to set the tone of our personalities, because I think that's what's going to make this fun.
I like ease of use.
I actually believe that an Xbox Series X would be your only console you would ever need, because their model. Probably. Because their model, right, is meant to attract not only the PC gamer that has crossplay between PC and console games in the Xbox ecosystem. They're setting up the Xbox Series X as that pretty much almost foolproof gaming system that you're gonna be able to play any of the games you want to on that system when you have it.
Sure, and that sounds awesome.
And I'm not saying you have to go out and buy one, and I know you're not going to, but my point is. But my point is, in your POV of the idea that, console games are hard because of, keeping up with the different consoles. I feel like Xbox is getting to the point where they're going to kind of fix that.
I can see that
they're trying to fix that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I'm on board with stuff like that. I'm just on board from a distance.
From a distance.
Yeah, or it's just like, cool, guys. That sounds awesome. I don't care. It's like, congratulations. Maybe one day I'll get an Xbox. Still have yet to ever buy anything Microsoft. The last console I bought was a Switch, but before that was a PlayStation 3.
Wait, you have a PC. You play PC games. Wait, last I checked, that's Microsoft. Just saying.
I said console. You son of a bitch. Stop trying to put me in a box.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Star Wars. Probably one of my favorite conversations, the one I was excited to have with you, because the possibilities now. Let's set the stage here, and by the time folks listen to this, obviously almost everybody is going to have a video out on this, but one that
Star Wars is going to be saturated.
Yeah, right. So and I'm taking a lot of the information from a video by a YouTuber, Star Wars HQ. Good channel, and he has other channels as well. This one he specifically covers, you guessed it, Star Wars, and really weird. So basically the lowdown here is EA has apparently finally lost their Star Wars exclusive license, which means all these other developers now have an opportunity to do what EA hasn't been able to do, and that's to develop a great Star Wars game. Now,
to fuck it up themselves.
But I think before that happened, though, and I know you haven't played it, but Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, I can probably say in modern day Star Wars games, probably the best Star Wars game that we've gotten in a very, very, very long time. And Rogue Squadrons, albeit not 100% exactly what I wanted it to be, but they're getting there. And I think they're making a lot of changes to the game to respond to folks and their needs. But really, to kind of take this step back for a second, right? Like, the last straw from what we have heard, or what's been bouncing around the internet, of Star Wars finally saying, Star Wars Disney? Or Lucas Games or Disney, whoever is really calling the shots here, which I think is Lucas Games now.
It's Disney.
Well,
it's Disney.
It's Disney.
Don't kid yourself. It's Disney.
Sure.
It's Disney with another name.
Sure. But there is the last straw basically was this game code name Project Ragtag, and it was supposed to be a third-person action adventure originally developed by Visceral Games, and it started development in 2013 before it was shut down by EA in 2017. Now, what's interesting to think about here is, Amy Hennig, famously from Naughty Dog, who was responsible for the Uncharted series, was also brought in to work on that project. And that's basically when they canceled that game, like, they put a lot of resources and really good resources behind this game that Visceral was working on. And then EA just straight up just canceled it. And they've canceled a lot of games.
Yeah. That as EA does. But here, a question for you. Yeah. Backtrack just like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Project Ragtag.
Yes.
Are we talking about Star Wars 1313?
No. So this was supposed to be this was an untitled one that didn't get because it basically originally was developed by Visceral, and then it basically, when they shut down Visceral in 2013, they took it in-house.
Right.
And so this wasn't 1313. This was a different game, but it was never named. Not that I'm aware of or that I was able to find. 1313 was canceled and wasn't actually something that was Visceral was working on, but I don't really know for sure. And this is my uneducated part of it, is there's not a ton of information that I could find on Project Ragtag, other than knowing a few things from bringing in like Amy Hennig from Naughty Dog after they shut down Visceral Games.
Yeah. Well, so it's gonna get big. It's Star Wars. They're gonna go big with a game that's gonna be probably quasi multiplayer. It's like they saw Fallen Order.
Yeah,
did really well, and I have a gripe about that game, which we'll get to in a second. But
are you talking about Star Wars? What is that? The Galaxy? You're talking about the mobile game, right? Which game are you talking about?
The mobile game.
Wait, which game are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm talking about Fallen Order.
Oh, Fallen Order. Sorry.
Right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Because
you cut
like
out
the
for a
last
second,
Star Wars
so,
mobile
yeah.
game. Oh yeah. Surprise everybody. I have so um what was I saying?
Star Wars.
Oh yeah. No, it's gonna be they're gonna go big because like Fallen Order did everything that EA said that nobody wanted.
Sure.
You know, it's just like single player. You can't talk to everybody. What are you gonna do? It's like I'm gonna have a good damn time is what I'm gonna do. Because the more people in a game, as I'm getting older, and tell me if you feel this way too, Chris, is I want to interact with less people in games because everybody's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Especially when you get anywhere near a competitive scene. It's just like, I don't remember being like this when I was younger. And granted, that wasn't that long ago. I mean, we're talking like over the course of like 15 years. Okay.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where like, I just hate when Star Wars comes out with a game that's actually good player. I'm like, awesome. I loved Squadrons. Squadrons was fantastic. Hard as shit to control.
Yeah.
But once you get it, it's okay. But you know, I want more of the option to play multiplayer if I want, like Squadrons does, but I also want like a really good replayable single player campaign that has maybe branching paths or just have a good goddamn story. You know.
Well, I mean, Ubisoft and Massive Entertainment are making an open world game right now, supposedly for Lucas Games, right? Like out of the gate, that's what they came out with. And you know they're trying to make a splash. I mean, maybe we get it there.
Sure. You kind of have to.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Massive Entertainment, in my eyes, is really good. Ubisoft has a very good history. I wouldn't say they have an amazing history, but they have a very good history, right?
They have a decent history.
I mean, okay, so but they're the king of open world. I wouldn't say the king, but they're on top of the world when it comes to open world games. You know, when you talk about Watch Dogs,
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I mean, those are massive open world games that, I'll be honest,
they keep on getting watered down generation after generation.
Sure. But like, I think the direct opposite for, say, Watch Dogs, right? Like Watch Dogs 1 was pretty watered down, but now to Watch Dogs Legion, they've really opened it up, and it's quite a bit different. And I think it's a better game today. And a lot of people got, you know, kind of slighted on Watch Dogs, the first one, because it was like, you know, the AA demo, like at
this
E3.
isn't what we were shown.
Yeah. Oh, shocker, by the way. You know, I think just about every fucking game these days is that way. Cyberpunk. But
yeah.
You know, I think you know, yeah. So, but I'm excited for the future. You know, like
of course.
Like, think about this. Can we get a better Star Wars Galaxies? How freaking awesome. Did you play that? Star Wars Galaxies?
No. Star Wars Galaxies is the game that I always saw at like Babbage's in the mall. Yeah. That had like this really cool box art that had like the Velcro that you like open up, and it's got like, you know, like Star Destroyers and shit all over. Oh my gosh. You got like cruise. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And then like,
no,
you know,
I'm not as old as you.
And I was just like, yeah, you are. You're much older than me. Basically in the grave. But but yeah. But no, it's like I just did not really quite, like, at that age, like I didn't quite understand RTSs, because this is like before I started playing StarCraft 1. So it was just kind of like I didn't quite understand what I was looking at, and I was just like, wait, okay, so but where's the lightsabers?
Wait. You're thinking of Empire at War. The
RTS. Okay, I might have this wrong.
So the Empire at War was the RTS. And so that was like the Star Wars version of StarCraft, right? What Star Wars Galaxies was the MMORPG.
Oh shit!
That started out.
Yeah.
That was amazing, and then they destroyed
it. Jay Ellenbrack was with.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Now I remember. Sorry, guys.
The game.
Sorry, one person.
The game was amazing until they destroyed it and let it die.
Well, that was one of the reasons why everybody was all up in arms when Jay Allenbrack took over at Blizzard after he was installed.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of blames him for Galaxies from what I have, like, you know,
it was his fault.
Gained through osmosis from the internet.
I'll say
it's just like, it was clearly just this one person that fucked up the entire game.
It was his ideals. It was basically, it's just like the what's her face to Disney and the Star Wars franchise right now. What the hell is her name?
Oh, Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah,
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah, like, to be honest, she is single-handedly destroying the freaking Star Wars films and
what universe
stuff. Yes, she's single-handedly. It's her. Yes, she's dismantling it. She's killing it. She wants to fire Favreau. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, I don't think she has that kind of power.
She doesn't, but she wants to.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. Why does she want to get rid of him? I mean, that's the thing that I'm missing in all these stories is like, why does she want to do that in the first place?
So basically, from what I know, is she's just upset that her world that she built in the second, in the three, the new trilogy, after 4, 5, and 6, that I don't want to name them because I'm not super happy with them.
Super happy with them.
That she was the primary driver of basically watering down and making the films a piece of garbage and very linear versus having depth. And
yeah,
it's so she's been credited to basically that problem. Now, obviously, there's no
her and everybody she surrounds herself with.
Well, yeah. I mean,
because it's never really just one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think she gets shit on enough. Like, honestly, like, I mean, like, yeah, she's made a lot of weird decisions. Like, who the fuck buys Star Wars? This is like Disney, and says we're gonna make 3 new movies, and everybody's just like, that sounds great. And then everybody's just like, but we're not gonna plan out what those movies should be, and we're just going to let each director just do whatever they want. It's just like, Lucas made some dumb fucking decisions in his career, but nothing like that. Like, that is just like the biggest problem here is that, like, Lucas built a world that, even though it's in constant war, live in that world, whereas the trilogy, like, at no point did I even want to remotely even visit it.
Well,
and I think, to me, that's the big shame,
because it felt lifeless, right? Like, all the new,
lifeless.
All the new Star Wars films very much felt lifeless. And why is because there was no character depth, there was no world depth, and there was no intertwining storylines that were happening at the same time. They were all happening on a linear path, and that is one of the biggest problems with the new Star Wars films. And that's where things like Mandalorian have brought back how George Lucas still, like, it's not George Lucas, but the methodology of how how the art is constructed is more like what George Lucas intended. And that's why I think Mandalorian is way better than anything that's been put out in the Star Wars universe in the last decade.
Yeah, I don't quite agree with, like, how you got to the solution that you did, but I do agree that The Mandalorian is some of the best shit that's come out. I mean, since the original trilogy, honestly, because, like, the prequels are, like, they're good in their own right. It's like they sucked, but at the same time too, it's just like, George Lucas had a really good story there. He just did not know how to present it to save his life.
Yeah. So here, let me explain though really quick where I got to my conclusion, right? and I've done a lot of, like, going back and forth on this and why, because I really wanted to understand why I disliked the current movies when it comes to fitting them into the Star Wars universe. I watched all the films from start to finish. again
in chronological
recently.
order.
Yeah. And so like and the second one still sucks. It's like, to me, my most unfavorite one.
What, Attack of the Clones?
No, sorry. The first one still sucks. From like Jar Jar Binks. The introduction of Jar Jar Binks just is so cringeworthy.
The Phantom Menace. I mean, come on, that was an instant classic.
A classic shitfest. But
I remember walking out of the theater and being like, "Wow, I can't believe that just happened."
And he came out of the movie theater for the second one and be like, "Man, I can't believe that happened again."
I was embarrassed after I left Attack of the Clones, because my parents got us a midnight showing to it because it was Star Wars. You know, they grew up with it. They didn't really watch it that much, but they were just like, "Oh, it's a thing," you know, because they remember it being a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
And so we got midnight tickets, and we get there, and then it's like 2:30 in the morning at that point. My mom, you know, she works super early and she's tired, and I was just like, "Mom, I'm sorry." Like as a kid, like I got out of that theater too, and I was just like, "This should have been good." I don't know what to tell you. I am so sorry. Like,
well, okay,
I shouldn't have had to like apologize for that.
Well, okay, so let me reel this back in for 1 second though, right? Like regardless of how we feel about those films, they're still actually better than the second trilogy, which is even more screwed up if you think about it, right? Because, you know, teenager like ourselves, right? Like when those came out, we're like, what the F is this? And then 15 years later, these new ones come out and we're like adults and we're like, what the F is this? Right? Like, but so then I go back and I watch them, right? And so here's a couple of observations that I made in the first 6 films, right? And I'm gonna kind of focus right now on Return of the Jedi. And when we talk about Return of the Jedi and Luke going back to confront his father, stronger dude, you know, I'm one with the Force, Dad, right? And yet at the same time, there's 2 other storylines that are happening at this very same time on screen, unfolding, with the Alliance fighting, as well as Han Solo doing his own thing. There are multiple stories that are happening at the same time and following the same people in the same moment, making the depth of the world more than imaginable, right?
Okay.
When you get into the new films, it's like one thing happens after another. No depth. Straight linear.
Yeah, I mean, the new films feel like, okay, so here's the difference between the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel. So the original trilogy and the prequel, I'm just going to kind of like put together, because the sequel is really the only thing that's wrong. Is that like, and I think I saw this in a video that we watched before, but like I totally 100% agree with this, is that like in the original trilogies, what you were watching on screen was only one thing that was happening. And even if there was nothing like physically being shown, you know, other things are happening in this world at the same time.
Right.
There's a Clone War, there's other things going on. There's extended universe things. This is before the extended universe got shit canned. And they built the entire Clone Wars series off of, the events of the prequels and stuff like that. So you understand, like, even when you're looking back, at those movies, content that was created 15 years later in like the Clone Wars, like animated series or anything like that, you're just like, oh, Ahsoka's doing that right now. Oh, actually Maul's alive. Stuff like that. But in the sequel trilogy, it felt like what you were watching on screen was the only thing that was happening in that entire goddamn universe.
Yeah.
And it was just so myopic in its view. And it started off just really confusing. What is the First Order? Why are they a big deal? Why are we dealing with Death Star again? Like, come on, guys. There's a depth of just fan-created content, licensed content that was extended universe canon before Disney took over. They were just like, no, we can do better. And I think that's the thing that really pissed off everybody I mean, well, okay, not everybody, because obviously there's still fans of this stuff, but I mean, like people that really grew up with Star Wars, and like I was willing to give the first, the Force Awakens, like the benefit of the doubt, and I got to the end of it, and I was just like, that was really refreshing.
Yeah,
you know, it's, you know, I think they can do this. I'm excited to see what they do next, and then they
crap the bed.
build it. I mean, they you know, somehow Palpatine has returned. Okay, well, that's it. I don't even know what to say. You know, it's like, I guess, cool.
Yeah, and they kind of, I feel like they screwed that up a bit. But
which part? Where do you want to start? How much time do we have?
Exactly. But, you know, getting back to Star Wars and the video games and EA, I tell you what, like, I'm super excited for the next phase of Star Wars games. I think we will potentially see, like, what I'm interested in seeing, believe it or not, is like Guerrilla Games Horizon Zero Dawn type game as, you know, Star Wars, you know. And I could see something like I could see, you know, Guerrilla Games making a game around like Kashyyyk or even Mandalore. Like, how freaking awesome!
How do you spell Kashyyyk?
Shut up, dude.
How do you spell it?
You're calling me out on my notes, and I'm gonna kill you on this. Gosh damn you!
Do it.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I think now that EA is not there as the owner of this franchise in the video game world, I think it's nothing but beneficial to the rest of the community and the rest of the gamers out there that want to play Star Wars.
Well, I agree. And I think it's going to be an interesting experiment to see if EA will still remain the lightning rod as far as like anything goes wrong. Like who's, you know, it's really easy to blame EA for a lot of things because they're a terrible company. You know, they certainly, a clock is right twice a day. You got your Fallen Order and you got your Squadrons. Both games are pretty damn good, but have their problems.
But yeah, they both have their problems. But here's the other thing, though.
Yeah,
EA was also only consulted and not part of the lead development of those games, right? So you had, I think, Motive.
Squadrons was that way.
Yeah, Motive. I think who was the one? I think it was Motive, right? That was for
Squadrons.
That's Squadrons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then who was Star Wars Fallen Order?
I don't know. I'm going to say just EA because they're just a blanket terrible company.
Respawn.
Oh, it was Respawn. Okay.
So, you know, two games that they were primarily consultants on and distributors and publishers, but not developers, which it proofs in the pudding.
Those happen to be the games that are good,
are the most successful right now. Like, I will say though, Battlefront 2, it took a long time, but I think they've rebounded a little bit. Like, I could say that like the Ewoks and stuff like that, and all the stuff in that time frame, they really hit that. I think they did a really good job.
The looks or feel?
Both.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, no,
like this really feels like an Ewok.
Well, no, the Battle of Endor. Like they brought in the battle
ground battle.
Endor. Yeah, and
the ground battle sucked. That was the worst part of Return to Jedi. It was. It was space Vietnam. I don't get it. Like, it was just, there's no way the Ewoks would have done anything. The stormtroopers are getting rocks dropped on them from like 5 feet above them, which normal person, yeah, that hurts. You're wearing fucking armor and you're just dead. You're just dead. Like, they're walking up to them and hitting them in the knees with sticks, and the stormtroopers are like, I don't know what I can do here besides die. It's just like, it was the dumbest shit. I mean,
whatever.
The only cool thing was like using traps for like 8 seasons, because they're like in lore, like easy to fuck up, you know. But like, I don't know, man. That whole thing, I was just like, this is dumb as hell. Even as a kid, because it used to be like that and Terminator 2 when I was like a child. Those used to be the two movies that I would watch once a day for at least a year. And I could still quote most of those movies. And even as a child, I was just like, I'm going to fast forward through this.
Oh, man. All right. So let's, before we move on to Cyberpunk, when we talk about Star Wars, I know you want more space simulation, but
yes,
what,
for God's sakes, yes.
What else from a Star Wars game are you personally looking for, or is it just space battles?
Personally, well, I love space battles.
No, I know that.
I
Rogue Squadron is amazing.
I'm giving everybody a background. Okay.
Oh, right. Background.
Laying down the land. Grew up with TIE Fighter and X-Wing.
Yeah.
That shit is just like amazing. Period. Still to this day, if you can get it to work, it's amazing. But, and I wanted Battlefront too. Like I thought all the trailers and all the stuff. And I was just like, okay, maybe, because I was really interested in the space battle, but like it sucked. Like it did not feel like you were flying. It was just like just like left and you died. Respawn. It's okay. You go. No, you just flew into a starter. And it's like, okay, this is terrible. But I do want more squadrons. I want a thicker campaign to come out of that. I want more, and I really want them to get outside of the like. Okay, you have 8 starfighters total. Imperial and Alliance, where it's just like, no, there's so many more. I mean, like there's attack craft, there's Lambda class shuttles, everything that was in like the original X-Wing and TIE Fighter games, where it's just like, because you can build better scenarios out of that instead of just being like, this squadron needs to go. It's like, yeah, this squadron needs to go, but what's the actual objective outside of that? It's like, it can't all just be trying to escape through a goddamn cave. Like it's just not realistic. Like realistic, like how realistic is Star Wars, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want that. I want more of that, because Squadrons is a great start that can be turned into a monster if they do it the right way.
And we're supposed to get more for Squadrons.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love it. And I'm glad that there's been a response for it, where everybody's just like, no, we more. I think it's something that was just so sorely missed after LucasArts went down. But then I also want still great single player experiences. I want some more Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. I like the Academy, where it's just like, I know I'm not really a controller, and to a certain extent I am dueling somebody with a lightsaber, but I want more of that, because I really kind of feel that like in this day and age, we can maybe kind of figure out a combat system that makes sense with that,
right.
And like just push that. It doesn't need to be much further. I mean, it just needs a little bit further what was already established.
Yeah.
And baby, you got yourself a stew. Man, I would love that shit. I don't want more MMOs though. Let me tell you that.
Yeah, but I think you're right though. Like ground to air, like that's the serendipitous. Like that's where I would love to be able to do ground to air. Like the No Man's Sky of Star Wars, that's better than No Man's Sky. But like literally the No Man's Sky of Star Wars would be flippin' amazing, right? Like that is.
Well, you're talking like about like Rogue Squadron from like the GameCube era.
Yes,
is basically what you're talking about at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like for me, like
I play that game
those
today.
Games split out, because like, yeah, I mean it's still good. Like it's good. I'm doing with like big air quotes, where it's just like,
sure,
for the time and for what it is, it's like, yeah, no, fantastic.
It's GameCube good. I mean, it's good. It's fantastic.
GameCube, which is usually pretty good. Yeah. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I want them separated out, because like I don't want my ground-based combat in my flight sim. Like I want to feel like I am in control of a starfighter, and I don't want to have to keep on like mix and matching. It's just like, just let me go do this thing, and then let me come back separately and do the other thing.
What I would love to see is how someone can combine something like Jedi Fallen Order and Squadrons in one game, and to where you
difficult.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. A ground to air game would be potentially where I would want to be, right? Like, give it to me like how I would watch it in a movie. You want that fantasy world, right? Like, you want that ability to be like, I'm gonna get in a plane or in an X-wing and go to Dagobah.
An air superiority fighter, excuse me.
Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Dagobah, of all places? Why the fuck would you go to Dagobah?
I use it as an example.
Colonial Williamsburg. It's like, there's Yoda's house. What the fuck else are we going to do out here?
It's a swamp. But
a swamp.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just referring back to, like, you know, Luke Skywalker saying, you know what? You guys go on. I'll catch up with you in a bit. I got to go do this thing and go to Dagobah, right? Like,
well, it's
having that plot line, storyline to take you in different places, in different ways, and have different obstacles. I think that's where I want to be.
You want a No Man's Sky Star Wars. You want to explore the universe.
Yes.
You know, like awesome. You're almost like a Star Trek dude, where you're just like, let's just go figure shit out.
No.
What? It's not a Star Trek.
No.
Excuse me. Okay, what's wrong with old Star Trek?
So let's move on to Cyberpunk.
Okay, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna have to talk about Star Trek at some point because present series aside, there's a lot of good Star Trek out there.
So Cyberpunk is in trouble.
Whatever. Newsflash, everybody. Cyberpunk was a really bad game when it came out.
Oh, geez. Well, first off, I want to put a disclaimer out before we start talking about Cyberpunk. And one of the things that I am wholeheartedly in disagreement with the community and folks around here, and not to throw shade at people, but the developers are not the problem that Cyberpunk is facing, right? It's not the developer's fault.
Well,
at this point, it's the people, the management, and the people who wanted to make sure that this game was released ASAP because they needed to make their investors happy. Developers, so the developers, yes, worked on the game, but based on a lot of things that we've been hearing, and we'll get to that, but based on a lot of things that we've been hearing, especially from developers and former developers, that they threw up the white flag, and a lot of time, you know, like a lot of the developers thought that this game was coming out in 2022, and so much that are surprised coming out in 2021 was like, you know, I mean, I joke, but like, you know, I'm kind of, my title for this is Cyberbug 20 should have come out in 77, right? Like, to be honest with you,
let that sink in, everybody.
It's a terrible joke, but it has a tongue-in-cheek meaning of the fact that this game shouldn't have come out. The developers knew it.
Probably.
The management and owners didn't want to know it or understand it. And I think also COVID had somewhat to do with it as well, with the fact that developers had no access to dev kits at home.
Yeah.
There was no dev kits available to developers, which is a problem. And this is what has botched, you know, the older generation. Now, keep in mind, the developers from, and we'll get to Jason Schreier's Bloomberg article, but, you know, to be very honest, it's been told that, you know, the developers have said that this game was not ready for the older consoles. In fact, because of how the complexity of the game, they did not feel confident it would play on the older consoles.
And how right they were.
Yeah. And so this is where, and I know this is a long disclaimer and a long conversation to get to it, but honestly, I think
we need a disclaimer.
We need to stop blaming the developers for this. because I think it's unfair. There are people who are getting their lives threatened as developers for this game. There's people who
that's the internet.
There's developers who've lost their families because they've had to work extenuous hours to get things fixed. I think we need to stop blaming the developers and look to CDPR and say, look, this is your problem. You need to fix it somehow, and not the developer. I mean, developers obviously have to fix it, but you know what I'm saying? Like they're just the minions doing the bidding.
You're right. But I mean, like, here's my hot take on this. Who the fuck cares about this game? Like, who are you as a person that is just not you? Or you, but like, who as a person is like basically molding their goddamn personality off this thing? And it was just like, this is a travesty that this game didn't come out exactly how I wanted it to. My day, life, or week has been ruined because I was lied to. It's like, get over yourself. Who gives a fuck? It's not that big of a deal. They're gonna fix it. They're gonna put man hours in. Sorry, you bought it a year early when it was out, but I mean, Jesus, you still have it a year from now when you're just like, oh, the game was fixed. Maybe I should boot it up. And there's no reason to be all up in arms about all stuff. Yeah. Did things get messed up? Oh yeah. But you know what? Go live your life. Like there's nothing you can do about it. And threatening people and being like a badass over the internet will get you nothing. I mean, besides more stress. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, no, but like it's even more interesting too, right? It gets more interesting, Craze Gaming, YouTuber that I follow, put out a video about, Cyberpunk is in big trouble, where the Polish authorities are also keeping a close eye on the game's. Huh?
Did you throw up?
No, it was clearing my throat.
Did you throw?
I'm
thinking about that. Cyberpunk, and you're just like, Polish gaming.
No, so
keep it in there, goddammit.
So the Polish authorities are keeping a close eye on the game's progress and as it's being updated, and Cyberpunk, or excuse me, CDPR is potentially going to face fines from the Polish authorities and the governing body of the Polish people. That's
the Polish Empire.
Yeah. I don't know. That's how ignorant I am right now with that, is I am the Polish people. I don't know. But so
I know it exists.
So here's a question I have for you, because I've been mulling this over into my head and kind of think about this, right? Is video games that are released in this fashion, meaning like, they're just buggy as shit, right? Like, should they be subject to legal action? Like, and because here's the thing, right? Like, actions like this sometimes could either collapse studios, they can make good developers otherwise, being mismanaged, lose their jobs, lose their livelihood, lose their family. It's like, the question is, a bad video game, a buggy video game, is it worth throwing shade at a company and developers to affect people's permanent lives for a video game? And I'm not going to say anything yet because I want to hear what you have to say, but I'm curious about that whole scenario.
Sure. I mean, the internet is the internet. Internet is going to find some way to be outraged about something. Doesn't matter what. You give people anonymity, a certain amount of anonymity and the ability to say whatever they want. The worst shit will always come out of their mouth. And if they don't get what they want, guess what? You're in the target. But as far as devs are concerned, like, it's their job. They know, like, to be reminded every 5 seconds that this thing's messed up. Like, it's been their life for years at this point, and it's not the individual dev's fault. I mean, if anything, it's management not streamlining everything the way that you'd expect from a AAA company, which before and now, I guess I would consider CD Projekt Red AAA, because like, they don't have the best releases. I mean, if everybody remembers Witcher, I mean, does anybody remember like the Roach memes? of him just being on top of a house. I mean, they even made a Gwent card of Roach just being on top of a house and Geralt just being like, fuck, but I mean, it's like tongue in cheek and like, 6 years later, oh, okay, yeah, it's funny. I still had a good time with it because they they rounded out their corners and they did what they needed to do. And it's going to happen with this game too. But as far as like action from a government and stuff like that, I mean, it's kind of refreshing that, governments outside of the US actually want to hold people accountable for shit that they do, which is something that I think we could probably learn from. Because I'm not so sure how sustainable this is anymore. But as far as that's concerned, it's just like Polish government, they've got their own rules, and if that's something that is even on the table for CD Projekt Red, like they knew that going into it. It's not like it's like a surprise, give us 10% of your income. It's more like don't sell people something that doesn't exist, and we won't have to take that 10% of your income. It's like they knew this going into it, so I think that it may not be the front of their mind as they were doing this, but it was definitely there at some point. But the market's gonna dictate what's gonna happen with it. Like, are they tarnished now? Absolutely. Let's talk about this in a year, because everybody loves CD Projekt Red. Even through all this bullshit, everybody is still going to be like, as soon as they fix the game to a workable state, they're going to be like, oh, I knew it all along. This was great. There's a great game here. I saw it, but nobody else saw it, but I stuck with it. This is fantastic. And everything is going to be fine until they tease a new game. It's going to be like medieval times, 1612. I don't know, whenever medieval times was, 850. And they're going to be like, that was a great trailer 12 years ago. I certainly hope this lives up to the hype. And then we'll rinse and repeat. So anyway, did any of that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, here, like the way that I see it though, and I think, it sounds like we're aligned on this particular topic. And that's that, look, no matter what, games are buggy when they come out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when.
Especially these days.
Doesn't matter who. Games are buggy. And why? It's corporate driven challenges from being a mismanaged project. There's very few games that come out perfect. And in fact, a majority of games have day one patches that still don't even fix all of their problems, right? So yeah. Well, I think it was just the fact that Cyberpunk was such a highly anticipated video game that was supposed to rock our worlds and change how we saw video games, and was high profile. What's that?
I still don't understand that. I don't get where everybody was glomming on to the like, this is gonna change video games forever. This is gonna be the best. I don't know. I don't remember watching the original with like that woman slowly getting shot in the face.
Yeah.
And then bullet bounces off. You're like, ooh, she's a robot. I'm like, okay, I guess. But like, I just don't get where everybody was just like, this is going to be the best fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm putting all my hopes and dreams into it. It's just like, it's just an open world GTA-esque game. There's nothing revolutionary about this whatsoever that I have seen. And granted, I mean, I've very little experience with it, but like, I look at a lot of videos. I've watched people play hours of this game, and I'm just like, okay, it's kind of like Fallout. You have kind of like a vet system. It's kind of like Skyrim. It's kind of like GTA. It's just like mashing all those games together doesn't make a new genre. It does.
Yeah,
not shattering.
But here's something I will say about Cyberpunk in the, I think 40 or 50 hours that I've played it thus far.
Yeah.
And what I can say is it is different than, say, a GTA. It's different than any other of these games, because I think there is a good amount of depth in this game right now. Now, albeit It's buggy as hell.
Yeah.
And some of them are distracting, and some of them are quite funny and hilarious. But to be very honest, like I have not stopped enjoying playing the game, and
that's great.
And there is a vast amount of people that I have encountered who have this game that say, yeah, I mean, this shit's buggy as hell, but at the same time, I'm still having fun. That's a testament. If a game is busted as hell as this one is right now, and people are still having fun and completing the game,
yeah,
what does that tell you? Like, and so that's why it's just like
a good game.
Yeah, it's a good, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah,
it's only going to get better as it
is. There's no way it won't, unless like just development just stops. Like, and it's just like, sorry guys, this is it.
Think about it this way, right? Like even The Witcher 3, which is resoundingly the best CDPR game that has ever been released, right?
Yeah. Still.
But if most people will remember, Witcher 3 was a buggy mess when it released.
Yeah, I already said that. Yeah, it was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it's one of those things where it's just like, I think everybody is as upset as the internet will make you believe that they are, because like, yeah, certainly your PlayStation 4 owners are kind of pissed off about what they got because they didn't realize they were buying GoldenEye again. But from what I hear from a lot of people, it's just like, yeah, the bones are there. It's a decent story. Things got weird. It's going to be better. So, I mean, it's just a dead horse at this point where it's just like, yeah, we know. I mean, it's, who's still outraged by this? Why,
Right. Thank you for listening to our first episode of The Uneducated Gamers. The next episode, we will be covering the rest of Cyberpunk 2077 news and thoughts, and we kind of go into talking about some of the glitches. So thanks again for joining, subscribe, and we will see you next time.